Yes, guys, welcome back to another show. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it, as always, on the midnight hour, the midnight show. We're gonna have to come up for a name for a title for this show, guys. I like doing these like late night shows, so I need someone to come up for a good title for these midnight shows. So that's what I need you guys in the chat to come up with a good title for these midnight shows. But thank you very much, guys, for joining me. Appreciate it as always. And don't forget, guys, go and smash that like, go and smash that subscribe, and share the video on your socials as well. The midnight madness or late night vibes. Yeah, late night vibes. I like late night vibes. I'll have to remember that one. Late night vibes. Get your names in, guys. Get your names in. Be out Colin in chat. Be out everyone in chat. You're all doing good. Thank you for joining me. Liverpool. It looks like we're getting a brand new Liverpool. Michael Edwards is in the club now. He's back. Let me just take light down a little bit. Got Michael Edwards back. He's basically running things. As we know, Richard Hughes has joined as sporting director at Liverpool. The sales put a press statement about that today. He will take charge on the 1st of June officially. It's exciting times. We're getting a new manager. But what I want to talk about, big ends in the chat as well. What I want to talk about is this are FSG actually showing the potentials of running this football club in the correct manner? Now, we know FSG get a lot of stick for not running the football club apparently that well, according to some. I don't know if I want this light on or not. Let's have a look. No, I do need it on. It's just weird, bright. So bear with me. Oh, well, what the hell is going on with my light? There we go. We know FSG like to run how they run a football club, and a lot of people don't like how FSG run a football club. But are we starting to see the signs of an ownership getting a grip on how to run a club? They're getting the right men in charge. Jurgen Klopp is leaving, so they're looking around, getting the right men in charge. Michael Edwards coming back is pretty much the fan base are pretty much on board with that. Richard Hughes coming in, sporting director, is very close to Michael Edwards himself. He's very close to Michael Edwards himself. They've known each other a very, very long time. I think back in the Portsmouth days, known each other a long time, and he has full trust of him. I just look at it at the moment and feel like I don't know what more FSG can do. It looks like they're trying to run the club in the right, correct way. They're putting an infrastructure in at the football club now. You look at a lot of clubs at the moment, their infrastructure is terrible. We're hearing now news that Chelsea next season might have to try and gather up like 150, 200 million pounds to afford any FFP claims. Chelsea Football Club can't afford to have points deducted next season. How they've been going the last 2 years, wasting money. We've seen Nottingham Forest penalised. We've seen Everton penalised. We're hearing rumours that if Leicester get promoted, they will get penalised by FFP and start on minus something points next season if they get promoted. We've also apparently by the beginning of next season, the Man City stuff will be sorted out. And then I look at our owners, and I think we've got no real debt on the football club. It's basically manageable debt, which people that everyone has manageable debt. If you've got a mobile phone contract, you've got a manageable debt. It's called manageable debt that most people have. They've built up Anfield, 60,000 all-seater stadium now. We didn't have to move stadiums at a cost and build a brand new stadium. No one wanted to leave Anfield, so they built that up. You got the new training ground at AXA, all built up. You got the youth team coming through now. What we've done with the academy is amazing. We've got one of the better academies in the Premier League right now. Players coming through. The infrastructure at the football club is actually quite good. You know, the infrastructure at our football club is quite good. And my problem with modern day football today is the want for spending 70 million, 80 million, 90 million, 100 million every single year, you know, all the time, continuously. You know, and you're not successful unless you spend money, which is a bit, you know, you ask our manager, can you be successful without having to spend the money of Chelsea, Man City, Man United? Our manager will tell you, you know, it's not all about that. Yes, you have to spend. Every team has to spend. But it's not all about that. It's about putting the right infrastructure in place, the right training, the right system, getting the right players full stop that can create a right atmosphere at your football club. So apart from that, what do FSG actually do that's wrong? I mean this now. I'm starting to feel like, and I'm not doing this as an FSG in and an FSG out debate. I'm really not. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to understand, apart from putting money down in transfers that people gagging for, what actually are they doing that wrong as an ownership model? As an ownership model. You know, that's what I need to know now. You know, you're looking at a lot of clubs that are having a lot of debt. You know, look at Chelsea. They've made a loss of almost 100 million. They can get done by FFP. Nottingham Forest, Everton, Man City have got 115 charges against their name. Rumours are Arsenal have to sell a lot of players next season before they spend, because the amount they spent in the last few years, and they've not won anything. That's why it's very important to Arsenal to win trophies this season. If Arsenal don't win trophies this season, they're going to have to sell players next year to help with FFP. You know, with their new signings, their wages will be going through the roof. So what have they? What is so bad about the club right now? Like, honestly, what is so bad about the club right now? This is what I need to ask. The honest question, guys. Like, what is so bad about the club right now? So, what FSG do wrong is not support our manager from a position of strength for having 29 Champions League. I always say this, and I keep saying this, and I say it every single time. Go back to 2029's interviews of Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp admitted on live TV that he didn't want to buy anyone. He didn't want to buy anyone. He said that season he didn't need anybody. That is why him and Michael Edwards fell out. And if you read Paul Joyce's stuff today, Paul Joyce, if you read Paul Joyce and Klopp's, Klopp's been Klopp's buying all the players that everyone wants to get rid of, by the way. You know, your Diaz's, your Gakpo's, your Darwins that people are not all completely happy with. They've all been Jurgen Klopp transfers. I also agree with the position of strength. I've said it many times on this channel that the owners, for me, should not have listened to Jurgen Klopp and got players in a way. I've always said that. That 2019 season, Klopp didn't want anyone. He did not want anybody. He was happy because he thought the club could do something special that year. And obviously he was right, because we won the Premier League. And he didn't feel like he needed anyone coming in to mess anything up. He didn't feel like he needed it. But what I will say on that is that what the owners needed to do at that time was just ignore Jurgen Klopp. But we know the owners had full trust in Jurgen Klopp. That's why he was allowed to do whatever he wanted. Now Jurgen Klopp is leaving. You know, I'm going to say it right now. People might hate me and unsubscribe from my channel, but I don't really care. I'm not about that. This is what I'm about. I'm going to put it quite clear, quite now. It's a complete myth that Liverpool don't spend. I'm going to say this loud and clear right now. It's a complete and utter myth that Liverpool don't spend. And I hate this net spend bollocks, Because there's all everyone, oh, we got the net spend smaller than Burnley. Yeah, okay. Well, as I keep saying, if Liverpool spent 300 million but sold 258 million, they'd still have a smaller net spend than Burnley. Net spend's bollocks. It don't mean anything, guys. How can you have net spend when you buy people in installments? Cody Gakpo was a £4 million transfer, but it's a £40 million transfer in all. Liverpool only put £4 million up front, but on the net spend thing, it'll tell you it cost 40 million quid. Not in the first time round. We only spent 4 million quid in the first transfer for him over his contract. You know, his first instalment was 4 million quid. That's why net spend, people got to ignore net spend. It's a complete and utter bollocks. It's a myth. It just drives my head in. Liverpool only started winning titles. Do you know when Liverpool started winning titles? Premier League and Champions League? When they broke the world record for a goalkeeper and a centre-back. True fact. Completely and utter true fact. The only time Liverpool started winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues and become successful was when they broke the world record for a goalkeeper and a centre-back. So this myth about not spending is exactly what it is, a myth. Absolute myth. Did we spend money that we used to sell? Yeah. Do other teams do that? No. Katie says, what did FSG do last year when we needed a midfielder? They went the whole January without buying one. What, this January or last January? What one? Because last January, we all know what happened. Jurgen Klopp said he didn't need midfielders and then apologised for it. I don't do this game. I'm telling everyone right now. And yeah, they sold Coutinho, Katie. But how many teams do you know that let them spend all the money they sell from? Not many. This is what I drive people mad with, yeah? When people tell me, yeah, but it was the Coutinho money. Firstly, Coutinho was still at the football club when we bought Virgil van Dijk. I just need to tell everyone that right now. When we bought Virgil van Dijk, Coutinho was still at the football club. He ain't gone yet. He weren't even sold yet. So that did you see what I'm saying? But Liverpool, a lot of clubs, go back to when Man United sold Cristiano Ronaldo. When Man United sold Cristiano Ronaldo for a world record £80 million, who did they buy? Who did they buy? Go and ask Man United fans this. Yeah, they bought that winger from PSV or whatever his name was for about 4 million quid. They didn't replace him. They didn't let the manager spend all the 80 million either. They got a world record fee for Cristiano Ronaldo and spent about 15, 20 million. Didn't spend all the money. This is what I keep saying, man. It's all right buying, selling to buy if you do it correctly, guys. I don't understand the problem with it. That's what I need to understand. I don't understand the problem with sell to buy and being self-sustainable. I don't get it. The deal with Frank, the deal weren't already done. We bought Van Dijk on Boxing Day. We paid for Van Dijk on Boxing Day. Coutinho didn't go and sign for Barcelona till like the end of the first week in January. So it's again a myth. This is what I'm trying to say. Coutinho weren't sold first. We bought Van Dijk first, and then Coutinho was sold. I don't understand people's issues with sell to buy. I really don't. If you do it properly, what's the issue? Did our team become better when we sold Coutinho? Yeah. I don't get the problem. I just don't understand everyone's issue with it. People have got a massive issue with Gakpo and people like Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo right now. They want them gone out the football club. They were Jurgen Klopp signings, the manager signings. Club didn't want them. They were Jurgen Klopp signings. I just don't get this whole... what about John W. saying players are getting too expensive, can't afford it? Why do they own a football club then? Because you can buy other players in other means. You don't have to spend £100 million on each player. Let's put it this way. Guys. Manchester City are looking to get rid of Jack Grealish. It costs £100 million. £100 million. It was a British transfer record when they bought him. They don't need him. They want to get rid of him. But that's what FSG mean by it. If they go buy £100 million player, he needs to be a success at our football club. He can't just go and be a flop, because you're wasting money. You're wasting resources that can go on other players. Maybe it's just me. I don't need to spend a shit. I think if you get the right infrastructure at your football club with the right manager and the right system, you don't need to spend a lot of money. You just don't. You don't. Look at Man United the last 10 years, guys. Look how much they've struggled the last 10 years. They have spent more money than anyone in the Premier League in the last 10 years. But they go through manager after manager after manager. They've had multiple different sporting directors. They've had multiple different people in charge. And they're still not successful. Why? Because they haven't got the right infrastructure in charge. It's all about infrastructure today. Look at Chelsea. They have spent £1 billion, guys, in a calendar year. In a 12-month period, they have spent £1 billion. No one in world football has seen the spend in 12 months that Chelsea Football Club in the history of football have done. No one has seen it. In the history of football, no one has seen a club spend £1 billion in a 12-month period. And they're a mid-table team who can't get into Europe because there's no infrastructure at the football club. That is why they're struggling. Chelsea fans will tell you all the time, it's not actually the spend, it's the infrastructure. You're spending on players that don't work at your football club. You're not scouting. You're just doing lucky dips and paying over the odds for football players. Mudryk cost more. Mudryk cost £20 million less than Bobby Firmino, Mo Salah and Sadio Mane combined. It's about infrastructure. It's about infrastructure. It's not always about what you spend. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Liverpool shouldn't spend more money. They should. I'm not sitting here and saying that to you guys. You know, there's been times in the last few years where I've said that the owners need to give the manager a bit more money. The Jude Bellingham thing, I think, was a bit of a joke and a farce. And I blame the club for that. I completely blame the club for that. You won't hear me say any different. The Jude Bellingham was a farce. And the club effed up. And they messed up. That is why they tried to get Caicedo as a sorry gift, basically. Because if you go back to the Caicedo stuff, it's Jay, it's not hating the ownership. It's not getting the players that are needed for Fekir. I can't blame the owners on Fekir, Fozzie. Neither can you. Tchouameni, can't blame the owners on Tchouameni. The only one I can blame on that, Fozzie, literally, the only one I can blame the owners on this one is Jude Bellingham. I can't blame the owners on the other one. Fekir basically signed his contract and did an interview with Liverpool TV, and they ripped up his contract because his agents wanted more money. Simple as that. When Fekir was happy with what he sold, and Liverpool don't deal with that. We know in Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool don't deal with drama queens, and that's what Fekir was being. So they got rid of him. The Tchouameni thing, Tchouameni chose Real Madrid over Liverpool. Simple as that. And Jude Bellingham is the only one I can blame on the owners. I agree with you on that one. The other two I can't blame. I can't blame anyone on that. FSG have owned the club 14 years, won one Premier League, one Champions League. That's not good enough. Exactly. Yeah. But is that all FSG and Liverpool's doing, Katie? Let's work this out. Liverpool have finished on 99 points, 97 points, and 92 points in 3 seasons. And only one of them they won the league on. And that was 99 points. They finished on 97 points and didn't win the league and finished second. They finished on 92 points and didn't win the league and finished second. They are the highest points in Premier League history for a team not to win the Premier League. Now, is that FSG and Jurgen Klopp's fault, or is that just bad luck? Is that just bad luck? I can't blame Jurgen Klopp, the players, or the owners are finished on 97 points and not winning a Premier League. It is unheard of. Unheard of. I can't blame the owners, the manager, and the players for finishing on 92 points and not winning the Premier League. It's unheard of. Do you know how mad that is? Liverpool finished 3 times in the Premier League with 90 plus points and only won the Premier League once. That's unheard of. Completely unheard. I can't blame anyone for that. I can't blame the owners. I can't blame the manager. And I can't blame the players. That's just unfortunate bad luck. And plus, we don't know till this day, Katie, that Man City ain't cheating. If Man City are found to be cheating, Liverpool will get all them Premier Leagues. And then you're looking at, 3 Premier Leagues in 14 years, which in today's football isn't too bad. Plus a Champions League, plus maybe Europa League, maybe 2 FA Cups, a League Cup, a Super Cup, and a World Club Championship. It's not terrible, is it? It's not terrible. We can't win the league every year. We just can't. No team does. Man City probably won't win the league this year, and they've won it, 7 in the last 8 years or whatever it is, which is madness. But look at the money. Look at it. But if they're found of cheating, this is the thing we've got to remember. If City are found cheating, then all them trophies they won in that period are non and void. They don't exist. They never happened because they cheated to get them. If they're found guilty of it, then I think we have a different outlook on everything, don't we? Then we have a different outlook on everything. But I get what everyone's saying, man. It isn't good enough. That was with Klopp. They owned the club since 2010. And do you remember the club in 2010? Do you remember the mess of the football club that Hicks and Gillette put us in? And Brendan Rodgers put us in 2000 when they came in. It took years to sort out, man. It took years and years to sort out. I didn't expect anything to happen overnight. It takes a long time. And unfortunately, they're not like Man City's owners. Man City's owners came in, they got unlimited funds. They got wealth you can't imagine. You can't calculate their wealth. It's impossible. It's impossible to calculate their wealth. Now, Newcastle have got the richest owners in sport, not just football, in sport. And this is their 2nd year as owners of their football club, and they've not won a trophy yet. And they got the richest owners in sport. Next year, if Newcastle, with the richest owners in world sport, don't win a trophy next year or the year after that, that's 4 years with nothing with the richest owners in the world. So it's all about infrastructure. It's about getting the right manager. And they got it right with Jurgen Klopp. And with Jurgen Klopp, everything changed. You've got to remember this. Michael Edwards did not become sporting director till 2016. I believe middle of the 2016 season, he became sporting director. Then go to the 2017 season onwards. So go from 2016 to 2017, 2018, 2019, and look at Liverpool's success in that time. It came in a period when Jurgen Klopp was at his world's best and Michael Edwards is in charge of getting players, selling players and buying players. And we had that beautiful infrastructure at the football club. It's all about infrastructure. And I'm not saying FSG are the world's best owners, because they're not. But it is about infrastructure. It's about learning your club. I mean, I love football to bits, like we all do. We all absolutely adore playing the game and watching the game of football. But I couldn't own a football club. I wouldn't know what to do. I would not know what I could be the richest man in the world, yeah, but love football to bits as an outsider. Doesn't mean I could run a football club. And FSG don't know the first thing about football. They probably still don't, in a way. So it took them a long time to get the right people in charge. Remember, Damien Comolli and Ian Ayre were basically lying to them constantly about how football should be run, because Ian Ayre and Damien Comolli wanted to run the football club. They didn't want them to run the football club. And it's only when they realised that they're absolutely dog shit at their job and sacked them and then employed within and got Michael Edwards as a sporting director. Michael Edwards was then the man who told FSG to go and get Jurgen Klopp. You know, this is the thing as well. Michael Edwards told FSG to go and get Jurgen Klopp, because FSG ain't going to know who Jurgen Klopp is. Why would they? So Michael Edwards told them, go and get Jurgen Klopp. He's free. We were having meetings behind Brendan Rodgers' back when he was our manager to get Jurgen Klopp in. Do you know how mad that is? You know how absolutely nuts that is? That we had secret meetings with another manager when we had a manager. And then they just sacked him and employed Jurgen. It was just seamless. And the rest is history. Again, it's the right infrastructure at the football club. It's the right infrastructure. Chelsea fans hate their owners. Some Chelsea fans call Chelsea's owners, Todd Bowley, the worst owner in the Premier League. But they spent £1 billion in 12 months, which is unheard of in football of all time since the game ever started. No one's ever seen that much money spent in a 12-month period. But they think Todd Bowley's the worst owner in the Premier League because there's no infrastructure. None. Now, if Jurgen Klopp was in charge of Chelsea, they wouldn't need to spend that much money because Jurgen Klopp is a genius at what he does. So they wouldn't have to spend that much money. It's about infrastructure. That's all it's about. It's all about infrastructure and getting them players in. Do you know why we weren't top after that, Emueski? Do you know why we weren't top of that? I blame everyone for this. So I think we need to talk about this seriously and not just look it down the rabbit hole. Let's talk about this seriously, guys. Yeah. So you say, do you support FSG not buying one decent centre back when VVD got injured when we were top in January? Right. I'm going to break down this for everybody. FSG were wrong not to buy a centre back. We all know they wanted Konate. So the story is, surely every Liverpool fan knows this, but if you don't know it, I'll tell it to you. Jurgen Klopp wanted Konate. That's who he wanted. He went to the owners and went, I need Konate. They went to Leipzig and went, we want Ibu. Leipzig told him there's a thing in his contract that if he's still in the Champions League, he can't leave in January. They told Jurgen Klopp that. Then they found out, but they can get him in January if they pay over the price. So Ibu costs what, 39 million quid? If Liverpool paid Leipzig around the 60 million pound mark in January, they could have got him out of that contract and got him in January, yeah? But they didn't want to. And that's why Jurgen Klopp got so pissed at the owners that January, because he couldn't understand why he just wouldn't pay the 60 million, get Konate in, because he's the player he wants. And I agree with that. I'm not going to disagree with that. I think the owners made a massive mistake not getting Konate in the January. Also, Jurgen Klopp made a massive mistake. Now, people might not like to listen to this, but it's factual. Jurgen Klopp took Gini Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson, and Fabinho from our central midfield area and played them as centre-backs. And we lost our whole midfield. So he took our three best midfielders at the time and played them as centre-backs. Then, when he decided to play Nat Phillips and Reece Williams as centre-backs, they weren't good enough for Liverpool, but they were centre-backs. They knew the position. When he played them as centre-backs and he put Henderson back in midfield, Thiago, Wijnaldum and Fabinho, Liverpool on the last 11 games of that season went unbeaten and finished third in the Premier League. So I blame both. I blame the owners for not breaking for not paying the extra to getting him from Leipzig in January, and I blame Jurgen Klopp for not trusting his squad. So yeah, I blame both. And I don't understand why people. I don't understand why people are blind to it. I don't get it myself. It's just me. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe that's just me, man. Maybe that's just me. I understand people will never go like FSG. What I would say to people is, though, who would you rather have as owners? Would you rather have Todd Bowley as like? Let me in the chat. Let me know in the chat right now. Let me know in the chat right now. Would you prefer FSG or Todd Bowley as Liverpool owners? Let me know in the chat. Todd Bowley or FSG as Liverpool owners right now. Let me know in the chat. Just put one name. Just put either Bowley or FSG in the chat. Who would you rather have as owners today? FSG, yeah. FSG. Just Katie with Todd Bowley for some reason. FSG all day. FSG. Even Honesty, who's not a massive FSG fan, saying FSG. Why is everyone saying FSG over Todd Bowley when Todd Bowley spends more money? I need to know this now. I just want to break this down. Why is everyone saying FSG but Todd Bowley spends more money? Why? Let me know why. For everyone who said FSG, with everyone who said FSG, why are you saying FSG over a man who spends more money? Because all I hear from the fan base is that they want an owner who spends a lot of money. But a lot of you guys want FSG in charge. It's a weird one. It's a weird one, ain't it? Yeah. Katie said, babe, Todd Bowley had the right structure, it would be good. Katie, that is Todd Bowley's structure. What you're seeing at Chelsea is Todd Bowley's structure. He's not getting advice from anyone. This is how he wants to run the football club. Now, if you listen to an interview he did the other day, he wants to continue spending a lot of money on under 23-year-old footballers. That's his structure. The structure you're seeing at Chelsea Football Club with Todd Bowley in charge is his structure. He's not getting things. It's his structure. This is what he wants to do. With Clearlake as his partners, their structure is to buy up under 23-year age talent. 23 and under. That's his structure. That's the structure he's going for. No one's telling him to put it. That is his structure. That's what I'm trying to say. FSG have got their structure. Chelsea and Todd Bowley have got their structure. The Glazers. Here's another one, guys. Let's make this more fair. Let's do another American ownership. Glazers or FSG? Glazers or FSG? Let me know. Glazers or FSG? Just one name in the chat. Glazers or FSG in the chat. Do Saudis own Chelsea or Todd Bowley? Todd Bowley's got more percentage than Clearlake. Clearlake are like a minority partner. You know, because the Glazers and Man United, they spend more money than Liverpool and FSG. No, the Glazers spend more money. Glazers spend far more money than Liverpool. So FSG again. But Man United spend more money than Liverpool, and the Glazers are in charge of that. So let's get to the other one. Look, let's talk about Arsenal then. because Arsenal got American owners, right? And the Cronkies have done really well with Arsenal. I can't sit here and bitch about this. They spent a lot of money. Arsenal have spent a lot of money. Do you know how much of that were loans, though? Do you know how much of that was loans? I've seen people in the chat saying about Liverpool got a loan for Dominic Szoboszlai, to buy Dominic Szoboszlai. Who cares? Everyone is actually at the moment with the Cronkies talking about how much they've spent, on transfers. Does everyone forget the big loan they took out to spend? Did everyone forget about the big loan they took out to spend on transfers? Right, they got to pay that loan back. That loan's got to be paid back, yeah? But people in our chat are moaning about Liverpool getting a loan to buy Szoboszlai, when I don't get it. I don't think there's much difference between the Cronkies and FSG. I'm going to say that right now. I think the Cronkies and FSG are very similar in the way they run a football club. What the Cronkies are trying to do at Arsenal right now is catch up. And big up to them. They're trying to catch up. Remember, Arsenal have, in their time, have finished 8th, 5th, 2nd. Yeah? So what they're trying to do is catch up. So they're putting money in to catch up. Once Arsenal have caught up like they have now, let's see how much Arsenal spend next year. Let's see how much Arsenal spend a year after that and a year after that. And you've got to remember as well, the money they're spending in the last couple of years with inflation. Let's go. Right, let's do this then. Let's do this. So Arsenal in the last 2 years have spent like 600 million quid, right? 100 million on Declan Rice and players like that, right? But because inflation goes up, transfer prices go up. What if Liverpool bought a 25-year-old Mo Salah in 2024? How much money is a 25-year-old Mo Salah going to cost Liverpool in 2024? Let me know in the chat, guys. Let me know. How much money do you think Mo Salah, with inflation, would cost Liverpool in 2025, in 2024? 50, 60 million? And I don't mean like the Mo Salah we see now. Remember, we got him from Roma. 25, 26-year-old Mo Salah. How much would he cost inflation now if you were buying him in 2024 and not 2018? How much would he cost you? 60, 70 million Roma would look for him, don't you think? So if we're saying around that 60, 70 million mark, right, let's do the next one. How much would Alisson Becker cost Liverpool in 2024? So in 2018, we got Alisson Becker for 65 million quid back in 2018. So let's go with inflation. How much would Alisson Becker cost Liverpool in 2023 season, 2024? In the last 2 years, how much would Alisson Becker have cost from Roma? Around the £100 million mark? Around 90, £100 million with inflation? So if you look at what Arsenal's spending in the last 2 years, so from around 2022 to 2024, Arsenal's spend is really big. But if you look at, because they're playing catch up, because they're trying to catch up to Liverpool, Manchester City, because they're the 2 biggest teams in the league, flying away with everything, yeah? So if you look at Liverpool's players they bought before that, before Arsenal started spending, your Manes, your Salahs, your Bobby Firminos, your Alissons, your Virgil van Dijk. Jesus Christ. How much we got Virgil van Dijk in 2017 or whatever it is. How much money in 2023? Let's go 2023. How much money would Virgil van Dijk cost in 2023 with inflation? This is what I'm saying. So when we look at Arsenal spend now, Arsenal are spending ridiculous loads of money because inflation has gone up. Transfer fees have gone up to ridiculous amounts of money because they're playing catch up. That's see how Arsenal spend in 2 to 3 years' time. Now they've caught up, they can't keep spending. They can't keep spending. When Liverpool were building their team under Jurgen Klopp, they spent sensibly. 35 million Mo Salah, 35 million Sadio Mane, 29 million Bobby Firmino. Less than £100 million cost our front three. Our front three cost us £100 million. Julian Wijnaldum was like 25 million quid. Jordan Henderson back then was 20 million quid. Fabinho was 40 million quid. Virgil van Dijk was 75 million quid. Alisson Becker was 65 million quid. Trent came through the academy. Robbo was 8 million. Matip was 3. Kanate, 39 million. Luis Diaz, 50 million. Darwin Núñez, we've now paid 72.5 million quid for Darwin Núñez. Cody Gakpo cost 40 million quid. Jota cost 40 million quid. Do you see what I'm saying? It's about infrastructure. Okay, Jamie, out of Man City, Arsenal, and ourselves, who's relying on kids more, mate? We don't get me wrong. I'm loving seeing the kids, but if the kids didn't perform, we would be in trouble. Here's another thing. I'll go for this Liverpool forever FC. Forever Liverpool FC. I'll throw this one back at you. What do you think Man City's squad will look like if they had 12 injuries like Liverpool did at one time? At one time this season, Liverpool have had 12 injuries to their first team. What do you think Man City's players would look like? And don't get me wrong, Jamal Lewis at City is a kid. Phil Foden came from their youth team. They're using kids. Cole Palmer, before he left Man City this season, played games last season. He was a kid. He came through their youth academy. He played games. But if Man City this season lost 12 players from their first team, they'd have to bring you. Also, go and look at Man City's subs bench this season and see how many youths are on their subs bench this season. Please, guys, go and look at Man City's subs bench a lot this season, yeah? When they did have a few injuries, guess what? They had youth players on their bench. Big up Ends will know this. We've chatted about it before. Go and look at their subs bench in games. Man City fans talk about this themselves. They sometimes put 2 goalkeepers on the bench, youth players on the bench when they've got injuries. It happens. It really does happen. Yeah, Rico Lewis, not Jamal Lewis. Yeah, big up Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis is a kid, man. Came through, plays. Foden came through their academy. Was a kid when he came into the team with all the money that City can spend. Liverpool were relying on kids because they had 12 first-team players in their squad injured at the same time. You got a first 11, and then 12 of them 12 extra players apart from the first 11 were out injured. Of course, you got to use the academy. Of course, you have. If Arsenal lost 12 first-team squad players at the same time, how well do you think, guys, Arsenal would do this season? Now, how well would they do? How well would they do? You know, and look, these academy players are doing well as well. So I agree what you're saying for FC. We've had to use the kids, but I can't blame anyone on that. I can't blame the owners for us having 12 injuries at the same time. I can't blame them for that. They can't foresee that Liverpool go have 12 injuries at the same time. That means they've got to go and buy 10 players. You know, so we got a 35-man squad. That's mad. You know how much wages that would be? How much you have to spend on a 35-man squad just in case you get injuries? That's just that's part of it as well, man. That's part of it as well. But big up to you, man. Question, Jamie: why didn't FSG step in when Klopp didn't want to sell? Question, Jamie: why didn't FSG step in when Klopp didn't want to sell Milner, Hendo, Fab, Ox, and Cater when we could have got money for them because Naby, Ox, Milner overstayed their welcome? I believe that is why, honesty, I believe that is why Michael Edwards and Jurgen Klopp fell out. I think the proof's in the pudding. Klopp's leaving. Who do FSG go and get back? Michael Edwards. Yeah, I think the proof's in the pudding right there. You know, Jurgen Klopp might say they got a good relationship. He's not going to sit out. He's not going to tell the press that he hates him, is he? I think the proof's in the pudding that Jurgen Klopp left and FSG twice and successfully on the second time got Michael Edwards back at the football club. Look, we know it from James Milner himself. James Milner spoke to Liverpool TV at the end of last season and said Jurgen Klopp tried to get him to sign a new contract. The owners intervened and let him go. So if it was up to Jurgen Klopp, James Milner would still be at Liverpool today. Jordan Henderson was meant to leave 2-3 years ago. Michael Edwards wanted him gone, didn't want him to sign a new deal. But Jurgen Klopp has a lot of trust from the owners. The owners completely and utterly 100% trust Jurgen Klopp. And by the way, they should do, because what Jurgen Klopp's done for Liverpool. So they got full trust in Jurgen Klopp. So if Jurgen Klopp says, I desperately want Jordan Henderson to sign a new deal, they will attempt to get him to sign a new deal. But Michael Edwards, who's sporting director at the time, didn't want him to sign a new deal. And we have what we have. Gini Wijnaldum, I believe Liverpool did the right thing in not giving him a new contract. I think the proof's in the pudding, as you see. Gini Wijnaldum, since he's left Liverpool, has not been great. He's struggled really badly. So I believe Liverpool not giving Gini Wijnaldum a new contract was the correct call. Liverpool letting Sadio Mane leave when he did was the correct call. You can see from Sadio Mane's career, he struggled at Bayern Munich. He had fights at Bayern Munich, and now he's playing in Saudi. Again, Liverpool let Sadio Mane leave at the correct time. Same with Gini, man. The same with Gini. They let him leave at the correct time. It's a great debate, guys. It's a great debate here. Yeah, he got ACL and ligament damages because his body was breaking down, and the club saw that. You know, Genie put everything. Look at how many of our players' bodies were breaking down last season, baby. And the club saw that. That's why they didn't give him a new deal, because they could see his body was starting to break down. Because the work effort they have to put in the Jurgen Klopp team. Genie played all the time. Genie was never injured. That man played all the time. His body broke down. That's why he got the injuries. No, I agree with your point a little, Jamie, mate. Let's just hope FSG back our new man just a little bit more and make us stronger. I think big up for your reply though, my friend. Thanks, Jamie, buddy. Yeah, big up, man. I'll reply to anyway. I ain't got a problem being wrong either. I'll keep saying this. I'm not FSG in. I'm not FSG out. I just support Liverpool Football Club. What I will say, anyone who's new here as well, what I will say is, if FSG fuck up or mess up in any kind of way, I'm not going to stick up for them for messing up. I will be on their back. If Jurgen Klopp messes up, because I won't be scared to go and have a go at Jurgen Klopp. A lot of people are. A lot of people don't think Jurgen Klopp is blamed. There's a lot of people in our fan base who think Jurgen Klopp can't do nothing wrong. Like he's blameless for everything, which is not true. I've never met a human being in my life who's not been wrong at occasions and made mistakes. Every human being has been wrong and made mistakes. It's life. It happens. And Jurgen Klopp has been wrong and made mistakes. And when he has, I've criticised him for it. So anyone who's new here, I'm not sticking up for FSG in any kind of way. What I'm trying to point out is that they look like they're trying to do the right thing for the football club, and in my opinion, that should be congratulated. They look like they're trying to do the right thing for our football club. Jurgen Klopp leaving our football club is huge. Most of us maybe weren't, apart from Frank in the chat, a lot of us might not have been alive when Bill Shankly was at Liverpool Football Club. But Bill Shankly, it's the same with Jurgen Klopp. He's leaving our football club, and it's a massive deal because he is elite. He's world class at what he does. He makes players better. He makes teams better. He's got a great system, everything. No, he's tremendous. He's world class. There's no doubt about it. He's one of the elite managers of world football. You can go anywhere and get a job. Not a doubt about that. But he's leaving our football club, and we have to make sure we don't fall that way. So what the club are doing, they're trying to get an infrastructure in place to keep Liverpool Football Club going. And for me, that should be congratulated. They look like they're doing the job properly. You look at Glazers. Let's go to Man United, for example, when their greatest ever manager and Sir Alex Ferguson, and let's face it, we're Liverpool fans, we might not like it, but Alex Ferguson is one of the greatest managers of all time. Yeah? It's hard to admit it because we're Liverpool fans, but it's true. We have to admit that, yeah? It's one of the greatest managers of all time, yeah? Look what he did at Aberdeen. Look what he did at Man United. He left Man United, right, when that squad was on the verge of dying. He won the Premier League that season because he's an elite manager, a world-class manager. He got that team over the line. But if you look at that squad, I think most of that squad got torn apart and had to retire and leave at the end of that season. I think Giggs went and Scholes and Fletcher. A lot of them will come to the end and leave in Wes Browns and all that. And then Alex Ferguson, on his own, because he had so much power, decided to put David Moyes in charge of Manchester United. It wasn't a Glazer's call. It wasn't an Ed Gill's call or anything like that. It was an Alex Ferguson call. And Man United, since Ferguson have left, have fucked up massively because they've never put the right infrastructure in place to replace a legend at their football club. They never put the right infrastructure in place. They just decided to let Alex Ferguson get his manager in and then change nothing. It wouldn't work. Where I'll give FSG a bit of credit here. Klopp's leaving. They're trying to put an infrastructure in place to keep the club going. Anfield's built up. They've got a new training ground. They've got Marco Edwards back, who's going to be in charge of running basically running Liverpool Football Club because he's the CEO of FSG. So he's basically the CEO of Liverpool Football Club as well. He's running our football club, day-to-day stuff. He is now employing Richard Hughes, who's a very good sporting director. I've seen a lot of shit talking about Richard Hughes on Twitter today. People going, oh, I don't trust Richard Hughes' transfer judgment because look at the players he bought at Bournemouth. Who the fuck did you expect him to buy him at Bournemouth? Who the hell did that? If you actually look at the players he bought at Bournemouth, they did pretty well. I don't think people realise how long Richard Hughes was at Bournemouth for. Richard Hughes also employed the new manager at Bournemouth that's doing really well. Bournemouth are quite a decent Premier League club now. You know, quite a settled club under Richard Hughes as sporting director. They've just got to get the manager right now. They just got to get the manager right now. And if they get the manager right, we're flying, man. We're flying. You know, we're going to play maybe a different way of football. They're going to play a little bit of different football. It's going to be... Jay, I respect your opinion, but I have to disagree with you to let go Genie and Mane all for most of nothing. Yeah, but then that's Liverpool's fault. Maybe Liverpool should have sold them a year before. Remember, with Mane especially, Mane wanted to go the year before. So he wanted to go with 2 years left in his contract. Liverpool could have probably got about 70 million for him back then. But Liverpool kept hold of his services and promised and asked him to stay one more year. And then when they knew Mane weren't going to sign a contract, they couldn't do anything about it. This is the problem, though, when you let players go to 1 year left on their deal. If players have got 1 year left on their deal, the player has all the power. The player has all the power. And Mane had 1 year left in his deal, decided he won't go play for Liverpool Football Club again. And he wanted to be sold. So Liverpool had to get the money for him, unfortunately. It weren't enough money. But if you look at what turned out to Sadio Mane when he went to Bayern Munich, it didn't really work out for him. He got into fights. Who did Mane ever fight at Liverpool? Like physical fights? No one. And then he's at Saudi now. So I think Liverpool, if you look at it, Liverpool got the best years of Sadio Mane. You know, Bayern Munich did not get the best of Sadio Mane. Liverpool did. So Liverpool got the best of Sadio Mane. He got to a certain age, almost 30, wanted to leave. We let him leave. Did we get enough from him? No. But that's down to the people who are sporting director at chance. I think Michael Edwards have got more money for him personally, but it is what it is. But yeah, I agree. I see your point. I see your point. Richard Hughes, yeah. If you go and read it, Richard Hughes wanted Virgil van Dijk at Bournemouth. He wanted to buy him from Celtic. Virgil van Dijk. Richard Hughes also wanted to buy a young Alisson Becker. No, I never knew about this till I started reading about Richard Hughes today. So Richard Hughes, when he was at Bournemouth, because he's been at Bournemouth for a long time, he wanted to buy a young Alisson Becker at the time when he was at Bournemouth, a young Alisson Becker. So he's obviously got an eye for talent. He wanted to buy Robbo. He wanted to buy Virgil van Dijk from Celtic, but he couldn't get them deals over the line. Why? Because he's Bournemouth. Very difficult at the time because they didn't have the infrastructure at Bournemouth. They've only got an 11,000 seat stadium. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. He also, I believe he's fluent in Italian. He's Richard Hughes. I think he's fluent in Italian. And he's got a lot of knowledge, man. But yeah, this ain't me being. Yeah, he's responsible for telling Edwards to get Salah and Ali. Yeah, exactly. Richard Hughes, I think Sadiq, ain't they been like pals for when it going back to the Portsmouth days when Hughes was a player for Portsmouth? Remember, Richard Hughes got the winning goal in the FA Cup in 2004, which knocked Liverpool out of the FA Cup that year. Does anyone remember? And Michael Edwards and him go back to them days. Trust his judgment. And they've been friends all the time. And I believe, yeah, he told, because Richard Hughes wanted Alisson Becker at Bournemouth when Ali was young and no one really knew who he was. And he told his pal, Michael Edwards, about these players and Salah, and they went and got him, man. It's a good relationship there. He's better than people give him credit for, man. He's better than people give him credit for. I see so much shit online about him. Exactly. Big up Sadiq, man. Big up Sadiq. Yeah, Hughes and Shabby have the same agent, which is, yeah. I mean, that's go help. That's go help. No, I wouldn't, Bailey. No. If we get a manager right, that would be outstanding. We just have to give him time in the job. Because when Klopp first came to FC, it was a bit rocky road for Klopp for a little while before he smashed it. Here's the thing. I agree with that. What we have got to do as a fan base is not expect the new manager that will walk through that door to automatically do what Jurgen Klopp did at Liverpool. It's going to take a little bit. Here's what I will say on it. When Jurgen Klopp came to Liverpool, he had a lot more to do than the new manager's going to have to do. You know, you think of the players that Liverpool had when Jurgen Klopp was in charge. You think of the infrastructure Liverpool had when Jurgen Klopp first came to Liverpool. That is night and day today. So if it is, say, Xavi Alonso who comes to Liverpool, he's going to find his job a lot easier to start with at Liverpool than Jurgen Klopp did. Because Jurgen Klopp had Alberto Romano and Sacco at the back and Skirtle, Mignolet in goal, Klein at fullback. You know, Adam Lallana, James Milner, Jordan Henderson, Emre Can in midfield. He had Balotelli and Barini's of the world and Ricky Lamberts and Christian Benteke up front and players like this. That was the infrastructure Jurgen Klopp had when he came to Liverpool. The new guy, if he comes to Liverpool, whoever it's going to be, is going to have a completely better side, a better infrastructure to be successful. And that's down to Jurgen Klopp and what he's built and what he's done. And we're always going to be thankful for Jurgen Klopp for that. That's not on the own. That's on Jurgen Klopp, man. Jurgen Klopp, because he's world class. World class, man. Yeah. I think it's an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan as well. I really do. The infrastructure's in place. Jamie Exford rated after a midnight show would be a good name. I've seen some of the names out of there, man. It's an interesting time, man, to be a Liverpool fan right now. Yeah, big up, man, big up. I love debating with all you guys, and I'm going to be wrong at occasions. There's going to be fun times I get things wrong. And you guys, I don't mind being. As I keep saying, I'm not an FSG. I'm a Liverpool fan, and as a fan of Liverpool Football Club, as a content creator, I break down things which I see. I can tell you what right now, guys. This is what I could do right now. Big up to the super chat as well. I'll read that out. Big up Seamus to the super chat from earlier. What do you think of the reports of Richard Hughes keen on De Zerbi? Now, I've seen these. I've seen the De Zerbi chat. The thing is, though, for the last few months, since Klopp said he was leaving, we've known that De Zerbi's on the list anyway. So I've seen a lot of people go, oh, no, Hughes and all that are in charge. It's definitely going to be De Zerbi. But for the last, since Klopp has said he's leaving, all we've seen is De Zerbi on the list anyway. So I don't know. I don't understand why people are getting upset about it. But De Zerbi, he's going to be on the list. I don't think he's going to be the choice. I still think it's Xabi Alonso. But yeah, De Zerbi's the manager of Liverpool Football Club. I'll get behind him, man. I'm not going to be like De Zerbi out straight away. That's mental. Do you know how mental that is? You know, you want the new manager to come in and be successful, but there's people like you can't be like, oh, De Zerbi's got the job. I'm going to back him. I'm not going to be like De Zerbi out straight away. Why would I put that kind of negative energy on our football club? Because we don't agree with the manager that comes in. Barmy. Do I think De Zerbi's that good? No, I don't. I don't think he's as good as people think he is. I think there's a talented coach there. Don't get me wrong. I do think he's a talented coach. I just don't think he's as good as people put him on his level to be. But if he came to Liverpool Football Club, I'd back him. Why would I want that negative energy around my football club? You know, Jurgen's leaving. That's negative enough. You know, back the guy. Look at the people behind him. Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards and the men behind him. I still think that could be successful. So whoever the new manager is, I'm going 100% back. 100% back. I don't want no negative energy next season. I really don't. And it could work. Who knows? I can't tell the future. I cannot tell the future. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. Look, I do believe we might have to go through a couple of managers till we find the right one. That might be the case, guys. We're replacing a legend. We're not replacing Brendan Rodgers this time around. We're replacing a legend. And to replace a legend, you might have to go through a couple of ugly ducks before you get to the goose. Do you know what I'm saying? It might be the way it's going to be. Big up Colin says, go and get Marlon signed up. He's a missing link. Might be the only one who thinks that, man. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, exactly. Klopp built great foundations, and now the manager, whoever it's going to be, has got great foundations to work on. Great foundations, and this is I'm an excited Liverpool fan at the moment. But being like Katie in the chat, going back and forth, I appreciate it, Katie. Much love to you. Thank you for being part of the chat. Thank you for being part of the team and the community. But yeah, I liked going back and forth on the debate with you tonight. It's been brilliant. So big up to you. I'm Xabi or die. I do think it would be Xabi Alonso. You just got to, you know, there's going to be men like Nagelsmann. Do I want Nagelsmann? No. But will I support him? Yes. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want De Zerbi. I do not want Nagelsmann. But if they come to Liverpool Football Club as the manager next season with Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards behind them, supporting them, then I will support them. I don't want negative energy. You know what I'm saying? What is the point? I don't want them, but I'm not going to be sitting there Nagelsmann out. What are the club doing? This is a shambolic move. Blah, 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 blah. We're replacing a legend, guys. You know how difficult this is going to be? Xabi Alonso might not even be the right choice. I'm going to say this right now to everyone right now. We're all up on Xabi Alonso. I'm up on Xabi Alonso. He's probably going to win the Bundesliga this season. Yeah? We're all up on Xabi Alonso, yeah? He's very new to the game. He hasn't gone through a lot of adversity in his career yet. Barely any adversity has Xabi Alonso gone through. He's going to have bumps. He's going to have peaks and troughs in his managerial career. There's no doubt about that. He could be one of the greats coming through. But we don't know deep down that it's going to work. But it might do. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? It's going to be different. It's going to be difficult, man. It's going to be difficult. Really difficult. Oh, big up, Ant. The snooker league game yesterday, one session, team on 5-2 away. Big up, Ant. I used to be part of a pool team. Yeah, I'll support whoever the manager will be. It's not my job to choose the manager. We just support until he clicks again, because Klopp is going to be almost impossible to replace. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. I think my first choice is Xabi Alonso. My second choice is Ruben Almiron. My third choice is probably De Zerbi. And my fourth choice is probably Nagelsmann. Yeah, they're probably my four choices. Yeah, I can't guarantee you any of them are going to work. Can anyone else? No one can guarantee that Alonso will work, even though he's the one we all want. No one can guarantee it. De Zerbi might come in and actually do a really good job under the infrastructure of Liverpool Football Club with what's behind him and the players that he's got available. He might actually do a really good job. We don't know. This is why I'm saying it's an exciting time. Obviously, there's managers out there that no one wants. I think there's only a select few. I literally do think they're the four. It will be either Alonso, Ruben Almiron, Nagelsmann, or De Zerbi. I don't think there'll be any. It'll be one of them four, because as soon as the Euros is finished, I think Nagelsmann will probably leave the German national team, so he'll be a free and available. De Zerbi looks like he's probably leaving Brighton at the end of this season anyway, either for Liverpool or Chelsea or Barcelona. So he looks like he's leaving Brighton this season. Ruben Almiron is just one of the most wanted managers in the world right now. And so Xabi Alonso. So it's going to be one of them four for me, and I will back whoever it is. I ain't going to lie. I'm going to back whoever it is. People might not. There might be other channels up and down on YouTube that'll be that man out, that man out. I can't believe the club and FSG have done this to our club. But who do you want to replace one of Liverpool's greatest ever managers? Unless it's Pep Guardiola or Carlo Ancelotti, everyone we get in is a gamble. I'm telling you right now. Anyone we get in to follow Jurgen Klopp is a gamble, unless it's Carlo Ancelotti or Pep Guardiola. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. I think we'll still get Alonso, so I'm hoping as well. Exactly, Fozzie. That's what I'm saying, man. So we got to back whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? Big up, man. Exactly, James. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. No one knows. He could work. He might not work. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't know. This is why that's why it's exciting. I think a lot of us Liverpool fans are a little bit nervous about Klopp leaving, but I also think a lot of you are secretly excited. There's some Liverpool fans, I think, that are afraid to admit they're a bit excited about a new person coming in, because I know, I'm going to say this right now, I know there is some Liverpool fans, right, that get a bit wound up about the way we play sometimes. Like, it doesn't have to be all out attack all the time. We could sit back and defend. We could play a little bit deeper. It doesn't need to be rock and roll and heavy metal and risk reward football all the time for 90 minutes. I know there's some Liverpool fans that are like, why do we get so many injuries all the time? Is it because of the way we play? That might be different next season. I think there's people that secretly, because we've got such an affinity with Jurgen Klopp and a love for Jurgen Klopp, it's very difficult to admit when maybe next season might be more exciting. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm excited by it. I'm excited by the change. I ain't gonna lie. Sorry, man. I apologize. I apologize. Could be, man. Could be. And if it is Liverpool 67, if that is the case, I will be supporting Nagelsmann. I might be the only Liverpool YouTube channel. I know Ends will. Big up Ends in the chat. He will support whoever as well. But there might not be many, who will support. They'll be like, oh, I can't believe it's Nagelsmann. Fuck this shit. But obviously most of us want Alonso, and I want Alonso as well. I want Alonso as well, man. Yeah, true, Josh. Dan. This is very true. This is very, very true. It's because the infrastructure is in place, Fozzie, won't it? Like me and Fozzie, we talk about this quite a bit. Because when Shankly came in, Shankly, like Klopp, had to build an infrastructure. But when the infrastructure is there and it's built and he leaves, the next manager who comes in hasn't got to do much. They don't have to do much because the infrastructure is in place. And that's exactly the truth. That's the thing with Klopp and Shankly. They built an infrastructure and an aura about a football club. So when they left, the next person that came in didn't have to do much. Bob Paisley, he came in to a ready built infrastructure, took over as an assistant manager to the manager, took over an institution, an infrastructure that was already built at Jurgen Klopp by Bill Shankly. And then Paisley was able to feed off that infrastructure and go on to be so successful. Liverpool's most successful ever manager because of what Shankly built. And that's going to be the same with Klopp. It's scary, Klopp leaving. We're all nervous about it. But the infrastructure in place in Liverpool right now, guys, this is very important. The infrastructure that is put in place by Jurgen Klopp, by Michael Edwards, by FSG, that's it. Liverpool right now, especially Jurgen Klopp, that's at Liverpool right now, is only going to give the next manager more chance at success. And for me, that is why I'm excited about the future. That is why I'm excited about the future. Yeah, exactly. When he fucks up, we go, man. Jamie, the Leverkusen CEO, said Alonso will stay till 2026. Yeah, but money talks. Money talks. If Liverpool pay the release clause that is in Alonso's contract as a manager, then he's off. He's off. Exactly. And don't forget, the new manager hasn't got to do with contracts. I know everyone's up the Salah contract, the Van Dijk contract, and the Trent contract. So apparently, Richard Hughes, the news is right. Richard Hughes officially can't take over on the job till the 1st of June. But Richard Hughes is still going to work behind the scenes at Liverpool right now. He can get things in place to then officially do it on the 1st of June. And the first thing Richard Hughes is apparently doing from today onwards and right now is get them 3 boys to a new deal, which I think will happen. It's not up to the manager. If a new manager comes in, I'll tell you what, if a new manager comes in and he's got Van Dijk available on a new deal, Trent on a new deal, and Mo Salah on a new deal, that man's laughing. That new manager's laughing, no matter if it's Nagelsmann, De Zerbi, whoever. If you've got them 3 players, them 3 legendary players signed to brand new deals for years to come, and with the players we've already got in the squad and the great youth players that we got coming through, that new manager will be successful. He just will. He just will. Yeah, Graham Souness effed up Liverpool. There's no doubt about that. The future bright, the future's orange. Do you remember Orange Wednesdays, Sadiq? Who remembers Orange Wednesdays at the cinema? If you had an orange contract on your phone, you get Orange Wednesdays. Was it buy one, get one free? Yeah, I remember. And didn't they do a thing when you was in an orange zone? Do you remember the advert? When you was in an orange zone and you had the orange triangles on like lampposts and that when you was in an orange zone. Does anyone remember that? Yeah. Maybe, Bailey, maybe. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to it, man. And do you know what? Question: what if Klopp stays? I don't think he is now, to be honest. I was having this little witch about it. I don't think he is now. I think there's too much going on there for Klopp to stay. Yeah, and this is the thing as well. I read about Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes speaking today. If the new manager, no matter who he is, doesn't feel like he can fill Jurgen Klopp's boots, they won't sign him. So if Xabi Alonso feels like he can't come in straight after Jurgen Klopp, they will not sign him. And I'm going to tell everyone right now, this might not be popular. I don't want a manager. I would, if it's Xabi Alonso and he says, I don't want to replacing Jurgen Klopp right now is not for me. I don't want to do that. I'd rather be the manager after the manager. Then for me, I don't want him. I don't care how good he is. I don't want him. I want a manager to come here and go, you know what? Klopp's a legend. The elite of the elite, one of the greatest of all time at Liverpool Football Club. But I am going to back myself to do it equally as a good job as Jurgen Klopp. That's the manager I want. So if that manager says that and he's got the qualities to show it, bring him on. If someone says, oh, I can't, I'm not sure I can fill his boots at the moment, I don't really want to be that manager, then fuck him. I'm sorry. I don't care who it is. Yeah, Orange Wednesday. You know, you've been tango. Do you remember that? Yeah, buy one, get one free at the cinema on Wednesday nights, man. Yeah, there were days. Pep Linders took more. Yeah. If you listen to the rumours, the players wanted Pep Linders, man. Players wanted Pep Linders. Here's a good question. How have Dortmund fared since Klopp left? You know the difference of the Dortmund stuff to the Liverpool? Here's the difference between Borussia Dortmund and Liverpool. Bayern Munich monopolised the German league in such a way that they can buy whoever finishes. Like, you look at Bayer Leverkusen right now, yeah? Bayer Leverkusen are the new big thing in German football. What are Bayern Munich trying to do? Take their manager. That's what Bayern Munich are trying to do right now. They see Bayer Leverkusen as a massive threat because they can probably win the German league this year. So what are Bayern Munich doing? They're trying to take their manager. When Leipzig were having their good season that year, what did they do? They took Leipzig's manager. When Borussia Dortmund were doing so well, what did Bayern Munich do? They took Lewandowski. They took Mario Götze. They took Matt Hummels. The only man they couldn't do was Jurgen Klopp. But they took their three best players. That's what Bayern Munich do, man. Unfortunately, with Liverpool, the Premier League is worked completely different because Aston Villa can outbuy anyone Borussia Dortmund can. Like, Aston Villa got more money than Borussia Dortmund. They can spend more money on wages and players and transfer fees than Borussia Dortmund could. Totally different world. But I get what you're saying, man. I agree. I do agree with that, man. Look, Borussia Dortmund should have won the league last year. Let's not forget this, guys. Borussia Dortmund should have won the league last year. They bottled it on the last day of the season. All Borussia Dortmund had to do was win, and they bottled it on the last day of the season. Question, Jamie, you said you would back to Zerbi, but what if they get a Thomas Frank? Yeah, Thomas, it's difficult because some Liverpool fans rate him for what he's done at Brentford, and he got the charisma like Klopp. Here's what I don't want. Here's what I will back anyone who comes to Liverpool. I'm going to tell everyone right now, I will back whoever. I might not like it, but I'd want him to be successful. I don't think anyone would want anyone to fail. I find that mad, firstly. So if it was, say, Thomas Frank, the only thing with Thomas Frank, I don't think Thomas Frank is in any way in line to be Liverpool manager because the owners have said it themselves. They don't want a Jurgen Klopp wannabe. They don't want a Jurgen Klopp Diet Coke. Do you know what I mean? They just want the full fat. They want the real thing. They don't want a Diet Coke version. They want the real thing, full fat, full flavour. You know what I mean? So with Thomas Frank, he's basically a Diet Coke version of Jurgen Klopp. And I don't think they want that. So I don't think that's going to happen. I don't want it either. I don't want it. I don't want it. Yeah, big up Ends. Ends, I didn't know you were feeling unwell, man. I hope you're feeling all right, mate. I hope you're feeling good, man. But guys, that's my look on it tonight. I know we had a bit of an FSG debate there. I didn't actually want it to go full FSG debate. All I'm trying to say is, big up for FC. Good night, Jamie. Lad, nice chatting with you, and all good chat, folks. Be well, stay lucky. Yeah, big up, my man. Forever LFC. Big up to you, man. See you again soon. I don't want it to be an FSG thing. All I'm trying to say is that I commend FSG at this moment in time to look like they're trying to run the football club correctly, and they're trying to do things correctly by putting a good infrastructure in place for the new manager to have some kind of success after Jurgen Klopp leaves. And I think that's all we ever wanted, guys, weren't it? Ain't that all we want? So if they can do that and they give the new manager a little bit more money to just go and go out there and get players in, then I think we're all right. We're all right. We're all right. But this all works off the great work that Jurgen Klopp has done, man. This works off the great work Jurgen Klopp has done. Yeah, big up Ends. How you doing, good man? You know what, your tribal chief, man. We are the ones. The four horsemen. I would Ottoman Turk, but if I play that, man, I'm gonna get. I'll get my video blocked. I'll get my video blocked. But man, appreciate love. Thank you very much, guys. I do appreciate, guys. I'm gonna have a couple of days off now. We've got the international break, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna have a couple of days off, go chill out. If there any Liverpool breaking news or anything like that, I will go live. But for the next couple of days, I hope you don't mind me just having a chill out for a couple of days and spend it with the family and stuff like that. Because while we have a national break, there's not a lot to talk about, and I don't want to just make up stories so I can do content. I'm not going to do that sort of shit, So there's no real thing to talk about much at the moment. I'm not going to talk about international football, man. I'm not going to talk about international football. I could care less about international football. So I'll go a couple of days off, see what happens in the news. Any news, I'll bring it to you. You know what I do around here. But much love, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, all the good stuff. Share the video. Go and subscribe to my man Enz as well. Enz has got a couple of other channels on his. Go to Enz Man's TV's YouTube homepage. He's got a couple of other channels that he does on there. Go and subscribe to all his channels as well. He does great stuff. Also, go and check out Enz Man's merchandise shop. He's got some merch out at the moment, some good stuff. Go and check that out. Help a man out. Help a man out. Liverpool community, Liverpool fans, go and help him. Also, Fozzie as well. Go and check out my man Fozzie's channel as well. He's doing bits at the moment as well. He's getting back in the game. He's doing great content over there. Great Liverpool content. Go and check him out as well. So I do appreciate it, man. I do appreciate it, guys. Enjoying your next couple of days, guys. I'll be back in a couple. What are we? Coming on to Thursday now. I'll probably be back on the weekend, yeah? I'll see you on the weekend, guys. Enjoy the rest of your few days. See you again soon. Bye-bye.